Hey, Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories. And if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. And let's crack on with today's first story. Much love, guys. Now, our first story comes from this sub is Trash15 from the Am I the Arsehole Here subreddit and says, Am I the Arsehole Here for asking to see my wife's phone? It does have a couple of updates as well. Happily married 15 years with 2 kids. Saturday night around midnight, she was showing me some videos on her phone when she got a message notification. She quickly swiped it away, though we both saw it. I didn't say anything but decided to go to bed, already a bit annoyed at how she did it. I asked who texted her so late and was told, I don't know. Mentioned she should look to make sure someone didn't need anything. She then told me it's a co-worker from my old job asking why I'm up so late. She left that job 4 years ago. I said nothing, just rolled over and ended up mulling things over for hours. Finally had a discussion about it yesterday, after not even being able to look at her. Of course, my mind is going all over the place. I asked when the last time they chatted and she said a few months ago, and that they occasionally congratulate each other on promotions and such. Fine, but then I discussed how she openly lied to my face, knowing full well who messaged her and that the totality of the circumstances was hard to accept as innocent. I reinforced that I was deeply hurt about being lied to in such an open and obvious situation. And now I'm wondering if I'd be out of line asking to see the history of their conversations. I don't think she's physically cheated on me, as she works from home and life and kids keep both of our schedules pretty full. But I'd be devastated if she had some sort of emotional affair outside of our marriage. So, would I be wrong to request to see a conversation? I don't need to see her entire phone, just that one. And one step further, would I be the arsehole if I asked her to stop messaging this guy? I just think anyone reaching out at 12:15 AM to a married person like that is just looking for trouble. Help me out, Reddit. Mine's going a million directions and I'd like to either A, learn the truth, or B, figure out how to repair this. An update on the discussion. Opie says, I began the discussion with, I have a shitty question and a shitty request to ask of you, but given the current situation, it's something that is festering in my mind. I then asked if the conversation was still in her phone. As many have suspected, it was not. She deleted. Why? Because I delete all old conversations. I then asked if I could see it, and she let me. It was all done via Facebook Messenger, so I attempted to find it in the archives, but it wasn't there either. I asked if she could click the messenger icon from his Facebook profile page, and she broke down about it being such a shit situation. She vehemently denies any sort of inappropriate conversations, though admits there may have been innocent flirting in the past, which I'm fine with, people do it every day. She also says she hasn't exchanged any messages since at least October, but it took a lot for her to let me see the phone where there was a chance I find something more. To the point where I told her that if I didn't see it, I'd assume the worst and would likely be looking for someplace else to stay the night. Not sure how to proceed from here. Trust is currently at an all-time low, and while I feel bad she's an emotional mess, it's a situation she put herself in. So I'm not overly compassionate about it. I wish there was another way to retrieve Facebook Messenger conversations, but as many said, it's likely long gone. I predict a long road ahead. I've already suggested some sort of counseling. Sucks that we've been almost entirely drama-free for the majority of our relationship, hardly ever fighting, and this is a huge bump, more like crater in our road. I still don't think she's ever physically cheated on me, and her guilt and emotions makes me think she's telling the truth about any type of emotional cheating as well. We shall see. Only time will tell. Thank you for all the advice and insight. Hoping updates are positive and few and far between, if any. Now, it was giving me vibes that Opie is being trickle truth in this situation. You know, midnight, receives a message, quickly swipes it away, is really dodgy about who it is, etc., etc. And then the conversations are deleted. Begins to admit there may have been some flirting going on. And of course, that's going to damage your trust. And without trust, what is there in a relationship, right? But Lady Lynn says, I don't know the right answer to your exact question. I do know if anything of the nature occurred and I knew my husband was concerned, I already would have offered any information that would ease his mind. Opie says that's kind of where I'm at too. If I knew she was suspicious about something or stressed, I'm an open book because I have nothing to hide. The most she'll find is obnoxious memes shared with co-workers and friends. Groundbreaking 2 says her shiftiness is telling. You should tell her that you don't like the vibe and give her one more chance to spill the beans. If she doesn't, I'd challenge her on how you're supposed to trust her when she's keeping secrets. Billy replies to that and says lightning fast swipe says a lot. She knows messages can come in any time and from who, so her split-second reaction was to panic swipe. I would definitely tell her that a demeanor and blatant lie she jumped to are clear something is off. She needs to tell the truth before I have to go find it elsewhere. LLJ says not the arsehole. That being said, once the trust is gone, there are plenty of ways this can end badly. If she's completely innocent, she will say sure and hand over her phone, or she may be indignant that you're accusing her of anything, assuming there is no previous questionable behaviour on her end. That being said, she lied. Good chance she at least towed the line or flirted with the idea of an emotional connection with this guy. Also being said, people who cheat are generally hyper-vigilant about their phone, so the fact that she was showing you videos on it and sharing something on it with you is a good indicator she hasn't cheated. So, coin flip here. I'd say unless you're insecure, then your gut may be telling you something. That being said also, trying to accuse someone of something with zero evidence usually just teaches them to hide it better and never results in any confirmation. In your shoes, I would just pretend you forgot it and just observe her behaviour and decide how you feel about trusting her. AHLM says, no one, literally no one deletes their few-month-old conversations. That you've witnessed is, in fact, an ongoing conversation. You could click on any convo she had with a friend or family member and it will go back years. I'd bet money on it. Facebook Messenger doesn't have a storage limit that I know of, or it would delete old messages automatically after some period of time, most likely a very long time. She knew you were going to ask and did damage control. So OP's next update said, follow up to a situation that occurred last weekend. We've had some discussion throughout the week. Tough to do with kids at home who listen to everything. Quick trip to pick up some food tonight. I decided it was a private place to have a rational, calm discussion. She started off by admitting that the text may have crossed the line. 5 years ago, right after her father had passed, I told her that flirting was somewhat acceptable and would work on it in counselling, but that this was her opportunity to come clean and that if I found out more later, I'm out. The silence and tears welling up was all I needed. I asked her if she had sex and affirmed it occurred one time and never once since. So there it is, out in the open. I remember how tough of a time it was she had when her dad passed. Her mental state was not great. I will not allow that to be used as an excuse. But I do have some compassion for her in that regards. It ruined her, and she still has a hard time with it. I asked if there's been anything ever besides that, and she is absolutely solid that it's the last time. We got home before I could ask a whole lot more questions. We'll have to wait till the kids are asleep. Biggest one being if they use protection, for my own sake. Going forward, I don't know, man. She's already said she feels like a complete piece of shit and wouldn't blame me for leaving. I've said I'm willing to attempt counselling, if nothing else more to see if this is salvageable for the kids. We've been pretty solid for a long time, but damn, this is a gut punch of staggering levels for me. My other issues, during the ride there, she basically lied via omission, originally saying text may have crossed the line. Not until I grilled her did she open up. I'm also furious that she's continued to have some sort of contact with this guy since then, even if it was very sporadic. I'm very likely going to message the guy and tell him how I feel about this. I don't care if that part makes me the arsehole. It also hurts my soul knowing she'd never have come clean if I had not seen that text. So Reddit, you were right. My worst fears have been confirmed. Wife cheated 5 years ago. Wish you weren't right. Fucking blows. Where we end up, no one knows. Sharing the worst week of my life with Reddit sure has been something else. And one more smaller update from OP which says she admitted to cheating 5 years ago and has continued to sporadically talk to him since then. Besides the text last weekend that got her caught, October was the most recent time, and she claims prior to that was almost a year more. Supposedly they talked all the time when the hookup happened, then ghosted each other, then started chatting on occasion, aka looking for dick I'd assume. She admitted she's reaching out to him in the past, but he's been the one lately. What really sucks, she tells me everything with us and our family has been great. October was when they last chatted. We just got back from a summer camping trip and we're planning on a couple's vacation at an all-inclusive. Wild. She's responsible for getting us scheduled for a couple's counseling session. I'm going to start calling divorce attorneys. It's going to break my heart when it comes to the kids, but I can't stomach the idea of my wife cheating on me at all, let alone a third of our marriage. She's already said, let's see how long she holds up to her end, that she had never tried to mess with me about the kids, but still being very cautious because they're my reason for living at the moment. And to me, I just feel like, again, it just feels like more trickle truthing in this. Obviously, I can't confirm that. I don't know the full ins and outs of the story, but the way it's gone so far that, it was just flirting at first. Then it may have crossed a line with flirting. Then they had slept to each other, but only once. But they seem to have kept in contact all this time up to now. And I just feel like there's no coming back from that. And I'm just incredibly sorry for OP to find this out. That's got to be absolutely heartbreaking. Especially when you've been strung along all this time and you're still not, well, what it feels like to me, you're still not receiving the full truth. And you've had to have this all drip fed to you at the same time, bit by bit. It's just torture, isn't it? But what do you guys make of this situation? Put yourself in OP's shoes. What would you do if you was them? Do you think, counseling can fix something like this? Or do you think that's it? It's over? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And let's move on to another story. And our next story does come from the Am I the Arsehole Here subreddit. Again, does come with an update from Throwaway Fiance 128 and says, Am I the Arsehole Here? My fiance wants to be a stay-at-home fiance. My fiance has proposed something that I have never heard of. We had a big argument and she felt I was acting like an arsehole. I wanted to get an opinion on what she is asking is a thing, and if it is something that I should be worried about. I, 30 male, recently got engaged to my fiance, Emma, 26 female, last month. Emma is amazing and we met at work. I'm a researcher in a big tech firm while Emma works in marketing. We met 2.5 years ago during a company event and I was completely smitten by her. I asked her out, she said yes, and we have an amazing relationship so far. One of the things I love about Emma is how organized she is. Her job involves working on marketing events and event planning. She's great at it and I'm proud of her. However, her work also involves working for long hours, especially if she is helping in organizing events or meetups. Because my job is a desk job, I generally have very predictable hours and do not generally have to work late. She always complains about how I get to sit in a nice office while she is driving around everywhere and getting things done. I know this might come off poorly, but I am neurodivergent, ADD, and struggle with simple things. And that is one of the reasons I love her, as I struggle with anything that requires organization. She is patient and makes my life better in many ways. We moved in together in the summer. She moved into my apartment. That was the first time we discussed finances openly. Due to some really lucky factors and stock value appreciation, I have a pretty good compensation package. She knew I was financially stable, but she was shocked when she learned what I make. I was actually equally shocked at what she makes. It turns out I was making 15 times more than her. I offered her to not pay anything and concentrate on saving to pay back her student debt, which was paused at that time. I own our apartment. However, she said that she also wanted to contribute, and we decided to split the expenses proportional to what we make, which I thought was fair. She has always been very independent and self-sufficient. Now to the issue. So we got engaged around a month ago during the holidays. She had never asked me for anything expensive before. However, she wanted a specific diamond engagement ring that cost us close to $15,000. I was not comfortable spending that, but she convinced me that she was going to wear it for the rest of her life, and hence, it's worth it. We got it and she was very happy. Whenever she shows the ring to anyone, she often attempts to mention the cost of the ring in the conversation. I feel extremely uncomfortable with showing off and I've told her many times to stop. However, she continues doing it. Yesterday, I came home and she asked me to sit on the couch next to her. She said she wanted to talk about something important. She said that she is planning to quit her job next month and give a 15-day notice. I was shocked and asked her if anything was wrong. She said that she wants to plan the wedding and is going to take a lot of time. We plan to get married in the summer, hence she wants to make sure that she takes care of all of the bookings soon. I asked her why she needed to quit her job for that, and she said that she was tired of working long hours and wanted to be a stay-at-home fiancé. I laughed and told her that was not a thing. Plus, she still has tens of thousands of dollars of student loans. She argued that it was less than what I make in a month and we are a team now, so she is not worried about it. I asked her what her plans were after the wedding, and she said she had not planned what to do after that, but was glad I was with her. I told her that she could take a break, but I'm not comfortable with her just abandoning her career at such a young age, especially since we're not planning to have kids for at least a few years. She is good at what she does, and I want her to be independent even after marriage, in case something bad happens to me. We had a big argument and she feels that I'm an arsehole to want her to work after marriage when we can afford for her to stay at home. On one hand, what she makes is not going to affect our finances. However, it just rubbed me the wrong way. I've never heard of anyone leaving their job to plan the wedding. Is stay-at-home fiancé really a thing? I want to support her and make her life comfortable, but I feel quitting her career is a little too early for her age. So a user asks OP, saying, have her sign a prenuptial agreement. What's she planning to do with her days after the wedding and before you have kids? OP says we already have a prenup signed before engagement. Sebscreen says not the arsehole, the fact that she went from an independent, capable adult to wanting to be your dependent after she found out how much you make is a huge concern. If she's willing to throw away her own career for this perceived easy life, that doesn't bode well for if she'll stick with you if you ever lost the ability to pull such a high salary. OP says, what concerned me was she waited until we got engaged and then told me about this. I just wanted opinions on if anyone else has observed this and how they dealt with the situation. So OP did come in to update the post and says, for context, the issue was I earn a lot more than her, around 15 times, because of some lucky circumstances. Even though we work in the same company, she did not know that until last summer. When we moved in, as I have a very modest apartment that I own and don't spend a lot of money on myself, unless on a few of my hobbies. After we got engaged, she asked me if she could leave her job to plan for a wedding full time and be a stay-at-home fiancé. I posted this here because I thought the term stay-at-home fiancé was funny and thought it would make a few of you chuckle. After thousands of you calling her a gold digger, I thought it was time for a serious talk and understand why she wanted to quit her job. I was able to gather my thoughts and was able to have a conversation with her. On Friday night, we ordered in and had a nice dinner. I again brought up the subject of why she wanted to quit her job. I tried to be supportive and not act like an arsehole when she was asking questions. Initially, she went all defensive about why she wanted to stay at home and started talking about how it would not matter since she barely made enough to contribute to our relationship. I tried to explain to her that it was not just about the money. I told her how hardworking and talented she is in her field, and she has worked very hard to finally get a position where she is helping with event management for such a large organization. I also talked about the fact that although I make good money, I've just been working for a few years and we do not have enough savings where if something happens to me, she'll be taken care of. I told her about my fears that having a large salary means I have the biggest target on my back when it comes to layoffs. Overall, I think I was able to get my point across on why I feel she should not give up on her career at the age of 26. She agreed with most of the things I said. She told me that she was very overwhelmed with all the things that she needed to be done before our wedding. She commented on how I'm really bad at organizing tasks and she will have to handle many of the things on her own. Our parents insist that we get married this year, and it's a very short time frame to plan everything. She said that she feels burnt out at work and barely has any energy left at the end of the week. After running around everywhere and sometimes traveling to different cities, her exact complaint was her boss treated her like a work mule, and it was degrading to do all the work for barely any money. Hence, she wants to avoid the work stress and plan for the wedding from a happy place. She promised that she would start looking for work once we were done with our wedding and our honeymoon trip. However, she does not want to work in a role she is currently working in, and wants a job with more predictable hours. She also talked about going back to school and getting her master's. She insisted that she did not want to be a trophy wife, and I jokingly pointed out the best she'd qualify for would be a consolation trophy. She laughed, but don't think she was happy with that. I think that was fair, and she plans to resign late this week. Hopefully she'll be able to enjoy the days off and re-energize before the wedding. As for all the gold digger comments, I understand where you're coming from. I grew up poor and I make an effort to never show what I have, to a fault, because not everyone in my family has got what I have. She fell into that version of me. If I trust her enough to get married to her, then I also have to trust my perception of her. For me, she is the smartest, hardest working, independent person who frankly does not care about stuff. Granted, she got a nice engagement ring and was excited to show around. However, most of my colleagues' spouses also have nicer rings. Overall, sorry for such a stupid, non-entertaining update. Glad we're able to talk about it and move on. But now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And just a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for getting involved in today's stories. Your love, your support, your time always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love.